When in the planning did you guys decide that Alaric was not going to stay a vampire?
When we talked about bringing him back, we really realized that the Alaric that we knew and loved the most was the Alaric that we met when he walked in the door in season 1. The teacher turned guardian, the guy, the man's man. And it really felt like giving him that experience of being able to reclaim his humanity when all is said and done and get himself back to human gave us more to work with, and I think gave Matt more to work with in a way that it just keeps the character so grounded, and it's a perfectly grounded character. When he was a vampire for that brief amount of time, at first he was super evil, and that lasted only just a couple episodes before he was dead. So, but the Alaric that we got to visit with on the other side really never displayed any of those vampire characteristics all that often. It was really all about those human moments that he was able to have with Damon or with whoever, So for us, it just felt like that's where the character lives and where we really wanted him to be.
I know Tripp has been a bit of a father figure, but is Matt Donovan's father out there somewhere in the universe?
He is. I don't know where, there's always, you have a list as writers of the things that you've never quite answered, questions that exist out there for future seasons, future storylines, and certainly the identity, not even that it's a mystery, but who Matt's father is and where he is, I think, is something that is on that list and maybe one day will be worth pursuing.
How long, or what can you sort of hint at about what you're going to do with Bonnie's storyline? Because she's just been out there for so long.
Yeah.
And it's got to wrap up at some point. There's got to be some sort of resolution.
Nah, never. Bonnie's storyline to me is actually one of my favorite things this season because what she's going through is first, she was in this strange circumstance with the person she kind of liked the least, but ultimately they had to find their own ways of survival together, and now she's alone, and or she is dealing with the murderous psychopath that seems to have one up on her, and so in terms of dodging him and then ultimately being in her own solitude, it's gonna really be a big shift for her character. She's always been the one that's ready to kind of lay down for everybody else and dive in to help everybody else and put everybody else first over herself. And I think after a long period of seclusion and isolation, it's going to change her. She's going to come back different, and I think different in an exciting way, because we'll get to kind of shape Bonnie in a whole new way, and maybe we'll see her kind of demanding that she be able to put herself first for a while.
You said she's going to come back, so can you sort of, will that be this season?
Yes, eventually. I won't tell you when, but eventually, before the season is over, we will see her back in the real world.
I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about the longevity of the show. How much longer do you think that you would like to stay with these characters, and eventually, what do you want to see for our heroine as her endgame?
I don't really want to talk about the endgame of her character, of Elena's character, because I think that is the endgame of the series,